And I turned on my car and the gas meter went up and it said 222 kilometers till empty.
Oh my
And I said,
gosh.
oh my gosh, 222.
Yesterday that happened?
Yes,
Come
yesterday.
on,
And
that's
I
awesome.
looked at the guy, I was like, 222. And he was like, have a nice day.
Hey folks, welcome back to The Insiders, and we're your hosts, Liz Srop and Amber Price. And today we're going to be talking about the Mercury Retrograde and its effects on our lives. Because one of the things, we're kind of improv here,
Yeah.
aren't we? And so we sat down and we're like, what are we going to talk about today? And we do that on purpose, guys, because we want to keep it fresh and exciting.
Yes.
We do have conversations from time to time about show ideas, but for today, it was like, well, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the Mercury Retrograde. So why don't you explain to the folks who are like, what is a Mercury Retrograde? What are you even talking about?
So a Mercury retrograde in the snapshot version is actually pretty interesting because it's energetic shifts based on, if you're looking astrologically, I guess, and you're looking at Mercury, it actually looks and appears like it's going backwards, right?
Right.
So what that ends up doing, depending on where the Mercury retrograde is in, like what planet it's in, and don't ask me about which planet it's in today. I actually don't know.
I think it's either Taurus or Cancer. I'm not sure.
I think
it could be
someone just
corrected.
told me the other day, but I
Yeah.
don't want to quote because I can't remember. But depending, because it does shift up.
It does changes daily almost.
Oh, yeah. So retrogrades can have great effects on people, but they can also have some adverse effects or shake things up a little bit. And that's really what it does.
Yeah.
And I was kind of laughing earlier saying that's what it feels like. It feels like my life is looking like it's spinning the opposite way, but I'm still trying to actually go the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So just like some of the things that I've experienced today, well, actually, since the retrograde happened a few days ago, right?
Started on Sunday, last Sunday.
Started last Sunday, and it goes until March 4th, 14th, something like that. Anyway, we have a little bit while left in that. And so I've noticed myself, because of course everybody will respond to this differently, or some people actually experience nothing at all.
Yeah.
I noticed that people that normally feel a sense of chaos or a sense of dis-ease are the ones that actually feel pretty peaceful right now in a retrograde.
Yeah.
And the people that are usually like pretty grounded or, normal life ups and downs are the ones that feel kind of spinning in the opposite direction while actually moving forward.
Yeah.
So for me, I have been awake between like 3 and 5 a.m., wide awake. And not anxious, but, like ready to go. Like, what can I do? Where can I go? What can I... And my mind isn't even spinning. It's more like my soul is just like, why are you still laying there when you have all this stuff you can be doing? So what about you? Like, have you experienced anything?
So where I'm normally, I like leading up to this retrograde. So we had a full moon the week before, the Sunday before.
Right.
And then we have this Mercury retrograde this Sunday that's just passed. So leading up to this, I was wired. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Like you, I was up and down. I have been sleeping like a baby.
Yeah.
Since this started on Sunday. So
Wow.
I'm like feeling like I'm like something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
I'm like waking up all refreshed. I'm like, what is happening? Why is
that's
this happening?
amazing.
But I'll tell you, one of the things that's been happening to me is the clarity of thought this one's bringing to the table.
Right.
So not to dismiss the chaos with electronics and, just like getting around, like we were late today. Right.
Yeah.
Both of us were late today.
That's right.
And
That's right.
It was just like we just accept these times when it's a retrograde time. Just accept that travel will likely be delayed at some times, and just not to sweat it. But the clarity of thought, Amber.
Yeah.
Wow. I've had like some really epic, and I hope to actually discuss one of those really cool ideas that I had in an upcoming show, because I'm going to need the help of the audience.
Oh, this
to
will be
make
fun.
it happen.
It's just calling on you guys.
Yeah, I'm totally calling on you guys. So be prepared, because I will be launching that. I've already started working on it. It's so juicy and exciting.
And that's the thing too with the retrogrades. I'm very excited to see what it is. But the other thing is, if you have things in the works before a retrograde, and now it's a really good time to manifest those things, right? Because a lot of times people feel like, okay, don't do anything. Like just stop existing during a retrograde, right? Because it
Assume
feels
fetal position.
it's discouraging because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, there's a block or an obstacle or a hurdle
Yeah.
or whatever, right? And then it's like, okay, just stop.
Exactly.
But actually, if you've been working on things before, it's a really good time to manifest those things. So yeah, now that you have that clarity and that
Oh my
wisdom,
gosh.
you can hit full force.
It's so exciting, and it's, you know, here's one of the things I decided with myself. I think I talked about this before, but I said that if I'm afraid of something or in fear of something, I just do it.
Yeah.
Because I have to step out of my fear. One of the mantras that I assumed about 2 weeks ago was, I was saying like, why doesn't somebody do this? Right? I've been saying that a lot. Why isn't somebody taking this on? Or somebody needs to start
Yeah,
this. Or
someone
and I'm like,
should.
I need to be the
That's
somebody.
right. You're the somebody. Yes.
So it's like, okay, every time I hear myself say that from this day forward, I have to now promise myself to be that somebody. So it was actually during the filming of the Ghosts of Dufferin County. I was on a Mary Ann Kennedy show.
Mary Ann Kennedy, you guys.
So cool.
Watch that show.
Yeah.
Mary Ann is a beautiful soul and highly, highly intelligent
Oh
in
my
this
gosh.
industry. So check her out. So you just filmed.
I just filmed with her.
I'm going
did a
next
show.
week.
You're going next
Yeah,
week. Yay. Just like, and the stuff that she's put together for folks like, you know, that are getting off the ground and trying to tune into their intuition and manifest like
Absolutely.
all that. She's somebody you want to look up.
She's
for
got
sure.
it.
So I don't want to be rude, but I have to go on my phone to see if there's any questions or anybody chiming in. I'm not.
Do you know what
I only have one question.
Oh,
Oh,
go
Shelby,
ahead.
hit it.
Yeah. Oh
my gosh, this is what happens. Okay, I'm not going to do that. You go ahead,
The only
Shelby.
question was at the beginning,
Okay.
and Catherine was asking, what is it with retrograde?
What is it? Okay, so as Amber said, it can create really great, profound stuff for you, but it can also create chaos. So we kind of tend to focus as humans on the chaos.
The chaos. Yeah, that's what we tend to say. Like, oh my God, everything's making me uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
that must be a big, bad, ugly, scary thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, so the way I break it down for most folks is Mercury is the planet of communication. So anything connected to communication.
And that explains it there in a nutshell.
Exactly. Anything connected to communication. So cell phones, computers, you know, just the word. I always say to people, it feels like I'm speaking a foreign language to people, or they're speaking a foreign language to me.
Yeah.
So a lot of challenges with getting a handle on what, or you'll find yourself being frustrated easily. And so really it's a time of reflection. That's what it is in a nutshell. It's not something to be afraid of, or to get wrapped up in the, you know, in the whole chaos side of it.
Yeah.
It's to embrace it and go, okay, what do I need to clean up right now? That's
Right.
kind of how I approach it. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because you're often, you might have heard, don't enter into any contracts or sign anything or change finances or make any big decisions in this time frame. I think it's important because of the fact that it can create confusion and chaos with communication,
Yeah.
that you're just to read it carefully, like communicate carefully. And
Yes.
so you don't necessarily have to avoid or, turtle. You just have to
Yeah.
be able to accept that you might have read something and in your mind, you read exactly word for word what it said. And that's what it meant.
Yes.
But if you go back to it and reread it, you're like, that is not what I took out of that whatsoever. Like this is, it was like you've changed the words.
Yeah.
Impossible, but it,
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely communication and
Communications
just,
with spouses or children. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
That can be, can be like shaky ground to be walking on.
yeah.
Just take your time, take a deep breath, and instead of taking everything personally that people are saying to you and your family, just say, okay, it's a retrograde thing.
Yeah, because in
It's a
your
retrograde thing.
in your circle of people, you're going to have other sensitive people.
Yeah.
And even if they don't know they're sensitive to energy, they will. I mean, if anybody's ever worked in the healthcare industry on a full moon, you know what I'm talking about. The universal energies affect people in ways that they don't understand. And so that's why the education piece is big, because it's not, it creates fear if we don't have an understanding. But if we start to get into it more, like you say, hit it head on if you're fearful of something, you're able to kind of work through something or have more patience, understanding. It is a good time to have those conversations with a partner or your child or a friend. It's just giving yourself the time to have that conversation and maybe not doing it through technology, maybe having a face-to-face conversation.
Yeah. One-on-one for sure. The technology side of things, I've had a lot of people saying that they're going to my website and it's down, and I log in and I'm like, it's up. I don't get it. I don't understand that. So I think there's a lot of that kind of stuff happening right now.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And even, even just in general, so people that are, let's say their energy is vibrating at a higher level, a lot of times just being in the vicinity of an area will create more chaos with technology. So sometimes you can't even hear it. For instance, if we're filming right now, everything seems to be okay. But later, if we're looking at a rerun or something, we might not have even noticed it, right? Yeah. Or something just creates in that feed. So yeah, chaos, but understanding and clarity too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So another cool thing that just happened was yesterday was the date. It was 20/02/2020.
Yes.
So February 20th, 2020. So when you look at that date, you've got 4 2s and 4 0s. And that was a big vibration day yesterday.
Yes.
So like that, the last time that happened was on the 2nd of February.
Right. Yes.
Right. So we've got this really cool epic energy happening simultaneously with this retrograde, which is forcing us to slow down, which I think is part of the cool thing about the retrograde, if we can really see something cool in it. The slowing you down and making you really stop and smell the roses and really think through everything that you truly want and desire, because that's what yesterday, the 2s represent intuition, divine, confirmation that you're on the right path. And the 0s are like the infinite number. Right. So in infinite blessings on that. So with 4 0s and 4 2s, my gosh. Epic day.
Well, yesterday I had to get gas, and of course today I had to get gas in my car again, but yesterday I got it, and it was, I turned on my car. Normally I do go to a self-serve station because it's just right around the corner for me, right?
I do that too.
Yeah, but I did go to a full serve, and I turned on my car, and the gas meter went up, and it said 222 kilometers till empty.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, oh my gosh, 222.
Yesterday that happened?
Yes, yesterday.
That's
and
awesome.
I looked at the guy, I was like, 222, and he was like, have a nice day.
I do that all the time too, and people are like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was really funny because I was like, of course I didn't actually put yesterday's date together with that 222. It was just like, it kept happening every time, right? Oh my gosh.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I've always had present in my life. So we're kind of talking numbers here. So anybody watching may have like series of numbers that constantly show up for them.
Right. Yes.
And that's a really big deal. So if you're repeatedly seeing series of numbers, like it might be the same number repeated, or it might be like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 11, 11.
Right.
These all have significant meanings.
What is yours?
So the 222 was mine.
Yep.
And I have been seeing that since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And so the 2s were always, so I'd always wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And like the most profound thing, that I can really kind of tap into, that was my most recent memory, was when I met my now husband. On our second date, I drove him home because that's a power thing for me, apparently.
As long as you're aware.
I was like, I don't want some strange guy driving me around. So I dropped him off at his house, and I'm like, which one's your house? Is that one right there, 222? And I'm like, no way. Okay, so as soon as I saw the numbers I was just like,
affirmation.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, okay, so this is divinely guided. And I actually knew the minute that I met him that it was something special.
I did too.
You too. Okay.
I did too. So of course, so this is my second marriage.
Mine too, right?
Yeah.
There's the 2 again.
Meant to be.
Exactly.
and I'm lucky because I have a wonderful relationship with my ex-husband, who's the father of 4 of my children.
That's awesome.
And then, so my husband, Matt, who gets a gold star for dealing with this every day.
I know, right?
The person who just wanders around and talks to people like they know that 222 means something at the gas, like wherever, right? Just oblivious. But so Matt and I have been together for going on 10 years. And so when I first met him, we actually didn't get to, when I first knew of him, I didn't get to meet him.
Oh, no way.
It just kept being blocked because it wasn't the right time in our life, right? So then when everything started to add up, I saw him on Facebook. And I thought, I'll just add him because we have our best friends in common. Like his best friend is my best friend's fiance.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, right?
Perfect.
And so I added him, and as I hit click, I was like, he's going to be my husband. So I told him that the first time when he answered.
Did not.
Right? So he answered back saying, hey, Amber, nice to see you. Hope to meet you on the weekend. And he's like, thanks for adding me. And I was like, hey, I think you're going to be my husband. And he didn't run.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, he didn't run. But so my numbers are 444.
Oh, okay.
So I had 4 biological children, so 444. And then, in talking to him, he just somehow said, it's so funny because the clock says 444 right now. And I said, you've got to be kidding me, right? And I said, that's my number. He's like, that's my favorite number. So that's how I knew. I was like, see, you're going to be my husband.
Yeah, I know. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember saying to my husband when we first met, like, I wish I had met you years ago. And he was the one that brought me down to earth and went, no, because neither of us would have been ready for each other.
That's right.
Right?
That is so
it's
right.
Like, had I met him when I was younger, he would have looked the other way.
Absolutely.
I was a crazy woman.
Yeah, well.
I was.
And I'm like, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and not to say that I'm not crazy still, but
But that's the thing. It has to be the right person for the right section of your life.
Yeah.
And to know that just brings you more peace because then you're not trying to fight against something, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, that's true. I say the same thing I did. It's the timing. Everything has to work out at the right time, right?
And that's kind of bringing us back to the retrograde.
Yeah.
Thing. So this is a perfect time to get a handle on what it is you want, what it is you desire. What are you working on that you need to spend time on and recognize the delays around you, stopping you from doing the things that you think you want to do? What can you do to focus on those things? And all the ideas that are popping into your mind, if you're getting those hits, write them down.
Mine right now is finances.
Yeah, it seems to be a big number for you, right?
It is.
A big deal around you.
And it happened 2 years ago, this same time frame. And so I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm in this retrograde. I'm seeing my bank card's not working. So I keep saying to use the tap.
Yeah.
And it's saying, not set up or not accepted or not working or declined or whatever they're saying, right? And I'm like, I don't understand. So I put it in the chip thing and then it says, okay, done, approved. So I called the bank and I said, it's not working. And they're like, well, it's set up. It should be working. And I'm like, but I promise you, it's really not.
Yeah, I'm not making this up. It's like you're taking time out of your day to make the phone call. I am not making this up right now.
And they're so awesome. The bank that I deal with is awesome. And so it was just like, okay, maybe it was just that thing. So I try it and I'm like, okay, I promise it's still not working. So maybe I have to go get a new card. But then it's a reflection on, did I need to make that purchase? Or is it being mindful? Did it give me a couple extra minutes to realize, or a couple extra seconds to realize, do I need to do this? Am I in the right spot? Am I investing in the right thing?
Yeah.
And so, but finances are for a lot of people a retrograde issue right now as well. Yeah. So it could be something from realizing that you have communication issues with finances.
Or abundance issues.
So I've done a lot of clearing of stuff just in case it's blocks, because to repeat 2 years later.
Well, how do they clear? Tell them how do they do that?
So a lot of financial issues or messages. Obstacles come from your sacral chakra area or your root chakra area, right? So it's a base of your spine. So anything to do with security, really the lower part of your chakras, the 2 lower parts. So if you do, I did a meditation. So you can clear
That's
in many
exactly
ways,
how I
right?
do it. I do meditations too.
Right. So I did a meditation which allowed me to really see where in my body, in the chakra bodies, that it was blocked, because sometimes
Right.
it's blocked in different areas for different people. So those were mine, the two lower ones, the sacral and the root chakra. So I could feel it right away, the twinging in like my lower hips. And I was like, whoa, there's no just like, this is where it is. So all of a sudden, I just imagined clearing that out with colors. So instead of I feeling like the twinging or vibration or the heat, I just filled it up with the orange and the red light. It actually looked like a fire, you know, the orange and red
Beautiful.
flames. And then it just kind of dissolved and disintegrated anything, but it's very visual.
Yeah.
But the other piece that I did with it was I sat down with everything and I lined out, what are we paying for each month? And do you know what I found?
A lot of like bleeding out. in
Things I
places.
never even signed up for.
Yeah.
I tallied it up, and it was a couple $100s a month
Yeah.
just in extra protective insurances
I know, it's
that I never
shocking.
even asked for.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never paid that close attention.
Yeah.
So now I was able to, like, through that block and through this retrograde and through this, like, okay,
Perfect.
something's working, something's not working,
Yeah.
to go through it. So maybe I'm sharing this because
There are people out there that need to do
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's time to
Money's
look.
funny, right? Like it's a stressful thing, especially because we always, we have to pay to survive
Yeah.
things, and then we have to earn a living to pay those things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of levels of stress there if you peel back the onion a bit.
Absolutely.
On it. And so people will avoid what stresses them out. But what you're not recognizing is if you avoid it, you're creating more chaos for yourself.
Oh yeah,
So dive
guilty.
in.
Like, look I didn't even know I was doing like paying all those things because I just
me
didn't.
too.
I didn't look.
I made like some really dumb, dumb.
Your little chuckle.
I had a chuckle. Like I bought pots and pans, and anybody who's had those people to their house knows they're stupid pricey. And I got totally pulled in, and I did that. And I think we have 2 months left to pay that off.
For pots and pans?
4 years.
For what kind of pots and pans did you buy?
They are apparently some super out of this world
Are they like
material.
stone?
No.
Are they diamond?
They're just like every other pot and pan out there. But yeah,
Oh, wow.
apparently I got pulled in to the idea of it. But the whole point is we all make dumb purchases.
Absolutely.
We all make those dumb purchases. But what that one purchase has done since then, it makes both of us. We laugh. We can laugh. Like I don't know if he laughs about it, but we do. I laugh.
One
about
day
it.
he will laugh
He
about
will laugh
it.
one day, probably in 2 months when it's finished being paid off. But you have to use that as a benchmark. As I cannot buy something that's so ridiculously priced that I could buy anywhere else like
Right.
a tenth of the cost.
Yeah.
These are things like we have to kind of balance. But when you're affluent in a time, like because we all have those feast and
Ups and
famine
downs.
moments,
Yeah,
right?
ups and downs.
So it's just like take a deep breath. Do you really need it? Is it absolutely imperative that you own this? And 99.9% of the time it's no.
Yeah.
Food, you need food. You
Right.
need shelter, and you need heat and cooling.
And those are the things.
And water.
Those are the things that are associated with survival, right? So
Right.
that's why the retrogrades mess us up
Yeah.
because it's all of those things. It's relationships, it's communication, it's children, it's spouses, it's finances, it's food. Like I know I have a really bad relationship with food right now in a retrograde. I'm too like almost wired or vibrating too high that I don't feel like I need to eat as much, or I'm making better choices with food. So instead of eating like maybe pizza, I'm just
Yeah.
going to use like pizza
Yeah.
because that's a go-to for me all the time. It might be salad instead. So I'm making like
Yeah.
lighter choices because it doesn't take as long for me to digest it.
Yeah.
But all of those things will make us feel frantic or chaotic in a retrograde because they all have to do with our survival. And so that's why those are the good times to reflect on them. Even if you don't make big changes in this retrograde, really just like I said, sit down with whatever it is you need to sit down with and decide what it is that you want to
Be
do.
honest with yourself.
Yeah.
What are you in fear with right now? What is causing you stress or anxiety?
And what are you trying to avoid?
Head on. Hit it head on. Don't be afraid of it. The unknown is far more overwhelming than actually what is.
Yeah.
And once you know what you need to do, then you can start like eating the elephant. You
And
know what I
I've also
well, one piece at a time, right? Eat that elephant one piece at a time.
I've also noticed that the universe will put people that you need to help you with those fears and
yes.
obstacles in your path when you need them.
Yeah.
So if you, I'm just going to keep on mind financial. It'll be the right financial planner that comes in and I meet at the Avondale, or, you know, like
So
just in
true.
talking to somebody. It might be a client that comes and says, oh, I'm an accountant. And I'm like, oh, geez, I'm just looking for an accountant. So there's always something that the universe will provide for you, but you have to realize that you're looking first, because then you're like, okay, this is what I need. So now the universe provides for us. And so just acknowledgement, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And take the steps into empowering yourself.
Right.
And money is, you know, it's there for everybody. You just have to believe that you're valuable and you're worth it.
Right.
And no one else is going to believe it but you. If you can't believe it yourself, how can you expect anybody else to believe it? You have to believe that you're worth it, and that you are absolutely worthy of abundance.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's when you're going to find dimes. Your spiritual people on the other side will give you the coins, right?
Yeah.
Dimes, nickels, maybe toonies.
Yeah. I like that. I'll take some 20s.
Yeah.
I have found a couple of 20s in my day.
Yeah. I always look at my
Shortly
old
after
purse.
the pots and pan purchases. No, I'm just kidding. My loved one's trying to help me out, hook a sister up, you know.
I'm bad for
too
that. I
funny.
go into old purses and I'm like in the side pocket.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh, me
oh
too.
my God, that's cool.
How did I
$5,
not?
$10. Yeah.
How did I forget that
I know.
20 in my pocket?
Must have needed it
I
2
know.
years later.
That's what I love, like the winter coat thing. When you go to put it on, you're like, oh, look at all these treasures in my pocket. Who knew? So, well, you know what? We are kind of getting to that point where we have to wrap things up soon. So let's ask you first, Amber, what is your thing that nobody knows about you? What's your fun fact?
My fun fact. Well, I was a candy striper.
No way.
Yeah. Do you remember the dresses? They buttoned from the neck all the way down to the bottom of the dress that went below the knee, a couple inches below the knee.
Yeah.
And it was like a smocky kind of dress.
Yeah.
And they were red and white stripes. And I volunteered at the hospital from probably grade 7, so around 12 years old, to probably about, I don't know if I did it in high school. I might have just did grade 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And then, so I
That's
did that
cool.
every Sunday morning from 9 to 1, and I think Tuesdays or Thursdays from 4 to 6.
My gosh. I did it one time with my friend who was doing it like you on the regular. She's like, come out and do this with me. And I'm like, okay, well, what could possibly go wrong? And I couldn't do it after that. It was too overwhelming for me.
It is. It's
being
a lot
in
of
a
energy.
hospital setting. It was actually in an old folks home that I was doing. Too overwhelming, daunting, the pressure of it. So I only did it one time.
Yeah, I can see that, because there were certain places in the hospital that I couldn't go. And I felt like sicker when I was coming home from those things. And I think that's how come I could only do 2 years of service.
Yeah.
I think I got my,
That's amazing.
2,500 hour pin, and then I was like, okay, I can't do any more.
You're
or
so
something.
dedicated when you do things.
Because I'm like, okay, I know in my mind I have to dedicate and promise this much. And when I get to this much, I have to make another decision. Do I continue or do I not? And then,
you're so awesome.
But I was more, like there were other things that I could volunteer for at that time, because the age groups changed, right? So then it was like, okay, this did what it needed to do for me. And hopefully I made some difference somewhere. But
Oh, I'm sure you did after 2 years. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And you, of course you did.
I loved handing out water.
Oh.
That was my favorite thing. And you know what? It makes sense, because my sign is Cancer. It's a water sign.
Of course.
And I have the energy, like I get boosted up. My vibration raises around water. So no wonder, because it was being depleted. So I was like, oh, just get me to like handing out water at snack time.
Yes.
And then I felt better.
Yeah, no doubt.
What's your fun fact?
So I have a bit of a strange one today. So I have there's certain things that I can't handle in my life, and two of them, and everyone's gonna think I'm a complete weirdo right now, but I cannot touch cotton or styrofoam. I cannot handle styrofoam rubbing together, or even in packaging. So you can imagine at Christmas time, I'm like, take it out. I can't handle it. But cotton it turns my skin like snaky. I feel like my palms sweat, and it is the worst. It makes a sound, cotton. People aren't aware of that.
It does make
it makes
sound.
a horrible,
Ugh, squeaky
yucky sound. Yeah. So yeah, weird. But my friends know this, and so when they're trying to play pranks on me, I've come home to my entire house being cotton balled on every doorknob,
Oh
under my
my
pillow.
goodness.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of fun with me.
Wow.
My friends in the day because
No
I came
doubt.
home. So yeah, everything was.
So,
covered in
do you like to pop the blister packs?
Love to do that.
Yeah,
I could
okay.
spend hours doing that.
I wondered because I was like,
Mindless
because
task.
really that makes a little squeak. It makes a pop. That also
It makes
can
a
make
nice cracking pop.
Yeah.
Not that squeaky, horrific, hairy teeth kind of syndrome that you get. Ugh, awful.
You're making my hands sweat
right?
just describing it.
It is just awful.
Yeah.
And I've actually met people. I've met a person who doesn't like cotton as well, and I've met two people who don't like the sound of styrofoam.
I've heard
Not
this
funny.
before, and I actually think I heard something about a study being done about
No
that.
way.
Yeah, you might have to look that up because I think there's a study that certain people are,
I heard
actually
about that study. It's like highly intelligent people.
Yes, it is. Their IQ is off the charts.
Yeah, right. I heard about that.
Yes.
I'm totally Googling that.
That's the one you should look
Yeah.
at that one.
Oh, that's
man.
awesome.
So,
Was there
yeah.
any other questions today?
Stephanie just asked, are there any crystals that can help you through a retrograde?
Crystals are kind of and like my go-to crystal is always quartz crystal, and then the amethyst is the
amethyst,
other one.
yeah.
Like, so I'll wear quartz crystals and amethyst. I'm not wearing them today, but typically I do.
Yeah.
I find those are just a nice grounding crystal to wear all the time.
Yeah.
But for the retrogrades,
I would, you know what? I'll look that up and I'll post it in the
Great.
feed of here because I am not. I love crystals, but I'm definitely nowhere near an expert on them. Out of just pure personal use, Tiger's Eye also helps like with the chaotic or lots of energy. And as well, I always do something that's very grounding and clearing. So something like selenite would clear, and then a grounding stone such as jet or tourmaline or something like that,
Right.
or black onyx, anything. So blacks and clears or whites I would use, and then like a Tiger's Eye. I think I have a hematite in my pocket right now. A hematite.
I have little stones in my purse that I carry around with me
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, I'll find out which ones actually would be good for a retrograde, and I'll post the link to that
Perfect.
site. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, this has been fun.
I know, right? This is great. So we made it on time. We're here. We did
ish.
it.
We made it on time ish. I love
And
it.
thank you, Shelby.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you everybody who joined us today.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, we will be going live. Are we taking a break next week? Or are we going to be back on next week?
We'll actually be filming back on location at my living room.
That's right. Okay.
Again, for a
'Cause
couple
the
weeks.
studios are getting redone. So next time you see us in the studio, it will be revamped a bit. This big table won't be here apparently, and it'll all be new stuff. So very exciting.
Yeah, I'm
and we'll
excited
be
to
talking
see it.
about some new things that are happening around here, which we can't talk about yet, but lots of cool things. So thanks, folks, for joining us. And this is Amber and Liz signing out. Peace.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.